is the first in a series of stick mobility workouts focused on fall prevention and reaction training, which is all about balance. Today, we're working on movements in the sagittal plane, like walking and bending. We'll be using 2 long sticks, and I'll leave a link in the description below for where you can get your stick mobility sticks along with a 10% discount. Now let's get to it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click the bell for notifications, like this video, share it with your friends and family, and be sure to come back to this stick mobility playlist for more. This is the first workout in a balance series focused on fall prevention and reaction training. So we're going to have 2 long sticks available for ourselves because 2 is better than 1. It's a little bit easier, it's more stable. So we're going to be using 2 sticks for several of these videos. And today we are focused on the sagittal plane of movement. When you think about sagittal plane, I know it's not necessarily a normal word you're thinking of, but it's movements that we do every single day. Walking, stepping forward. So when you think about the sagittal plane, if I were up against a wall, my arm is up against the wall, it's any movement I can do where that arm can stay against the wall. So I can walk forward or backward. I can even lift my heels, or I could do something like point and flex my foot. So we're working first and foremost on those kinds of movements, staying in that sagittal plane to try and build up additional strength, reaction ability. So starting with these 2 sticks, those 2 sticks are going to go right at about 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. And if you are the center of the clock and you're just pushing down on those sticks. If you feel like you want a little bit more security, you can bring those sticks closer to your body, or you can have your elbows bent so that the sticks are nice and tight to you, right? So there's always a level. You can also have them here if this feels more secure for you. And this will be kind of the most difficult, or requires the most balance and stability from you. So if they are at about 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, we're going to begin by marching in place. So let's just start with 10 steps. And I want you to really think about lifting those knees. 3, shoulders are packed down. 5 more on each side. Really focused on lifting the knees, keeping the chest upright. And now we're going to make it a little bit more complicated. So you can always remove a stick if you'd like, but right now we're going to try and step while I lift up this right stick so it's not touching the ground, okay? Shoulders are packed down, I'm going to lift that right stick and step. Okay, now we're going to try with the left side. And step, still thinking about lifting those knees as high as possible. Okay, now the way we do it in life all the time when we don't have sticks, lifting both sticks off the ground and having the balance and stability to lift. Okay, so we're just doing 1 rep of each of those so that you can start to feel what it's like when you don't have the sticks, when you have a little bit less stability, or you even have more stability on one side and less on the other. So we have 1 more exercise, 1 more repetition we're going to do, and we're going to close our eyes. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing this, feel free to skip it. That's okay. But you will notice that just by closing your eyes, all of a sudden, balance might shift. You might feel like you're swaying a little bit. But the more you practice your balance, and that's what I love about doing 10 reps, because by the time we're done with 10, it already feels like the body is acclimating and we're getting better. So 10, I'm just going to close my eyes, and all we're doing is pushing both sticks down and taking that step. Really noticing here if it feels a little more wobbly, it feels less secure, which totally makes sense because Our vision is a huge factor in aiding our proprioception. That's how we know where we are in space. And if we don't use our eyeballs, we got to use all the rest of our body and all of our senses. So we did the marching in place. Now we're going to try and lift our heels. And we're going to hold here. Okay, so we're going to lift. Woo, already I'm a little wobbly. And then lower. So we're aiming for maybe 3 seconds for each lift. Pushing those sticks down, lift, and lower. Lift, and lower. You may find that one side doesn't work quite as well as the other. That's okay. That's why we're practicing. Doing them together kind of encourages that both heels lift. And you will really notice if one side lifts and the other side doesn't, it'll feel a little bit off. So this is a great practice and great way to gain awareness in your body's capabilities. Breathing, lift, really thinking about lifting those heels as high as they can go. I'm just going to shift position so you can see the difference. And lower. We've got 4 more here, and then we're going to add on with those stick lifts and the eyeballs closed. 3. So you see we're still just kind of moving in this forward and backward position because this is where we most often live. These are daily movements, right? You lift your heel to take a step. Especially if you're using stairs. We got 1 more here. And now I'm going to show you from this side position that same kind of heel lift with 1 stick off the ground. Okay, so first I'm lifting the stick, trying to think about shoulders are packed down, and now I'm going to lift 2, 3, and lower. My right side is my stronger side, that's my dominant side, so usually that side's a little bit easier. I will say, in life, you don't necessarily hold on to the stick as you try and lift your heels and not have it touch the ground. So it adds a little bit of extra difficulty because you're holding on to this kind of sometimes cumbersome tool and you're not letting it do what it normally does. So now we're going to lift both sticks off the ground, which means this is weight holding on to these sticks. And we lift the heels, 2, 3, and lower. So this is the hard one. Closing your eyes, sticks are pushing down. You're pushing the sticks down, maybe 15, 20%. You might find you add on more pressure as you close your eyes. Nice big inhale. And then lift those heels. Ooh, definitely feels wobbly. 2 and 3. So I can really feel how I'm using the sticks. I'm pushing down even more on those sticks as I do this exercise because it becomes that much harder when your eyes are closed. So staying with very simple movements that we do in some way in life, we're going to just lift a leg and keep it here. It seems easy, but I guess we don't really do this often in life, do we? And lower it down. We're going to go for the whole right side, and then we'll do the left. Maybe 3 seconds here, and lower. Lift, 2, 3, and lower. You want to make it longer, feel free. This is just kind of our introduction into balance training. And again, you'll notice that if I didn't have these sticks, if I just let them rest, now I have to do more of the work. I will also mention, now that I'm doing this, this is a great alternative for creating a wider base of stability because now those sticks are pointed out in front of me. And if you wanted to, you could make them even more secure by putting them into an anchor point. So if you really want to feel like you're stable and you're not going to go anywhere, you can push down on the sticks here and lift that leg up And it just makes you feel a little more stable, a little bit more secure in doing this exercise. So I'm sorry I didn't mention that version of holding these sticks. There's so many great ways of using them. And lower. So as we're doing this specific exercise where we're just kind of standing on one leg, I want you to notice, do you start to push your hip out? Do you start to lean? Are you kind of bending over? Are there other things that your body is trying to do to compensate for this position? Because it's a challenging position to stay in for any length of time. Remembering to breathe, pushing down on those sticks. This posting leg is getting tired. This hip is getting tired. This is all a lot of work. We've got 2 more here. And then we add on. Whew. And rest. Okay. So I want to go through this whole one side so you really get a chance to feel the difference between sides. So again, I'm going to lift my right arm, lift that leg, hold, 2, 3. I can feel how I kind of want to lean this way because this side has more stability. Now I'm going to lift the left arm, left stick, lift, and lift the leg, 2, 3, and lower. Now we're going to lift both sticks, and lift your leg, 2, 3, ooh, and lower. And now we go for that eyes closed variation. So I'm going to close my eyes, push down on those sticks, know that I'm secure, lift. Oh, my right side really feels like it needs to lean, and lower back down. That makes sense, right? My right leg is lifted. I got to put more energy and effort to not lean. So, same exact thing, over to the other side. Left leg is lifting. We lift, 2, 3, and lower. Again, I'm really bringing my knee up high because that makes it more challenging. So, I want you to go to wherever you feel the work. It does not have to look like mine. Because, whoo, this hip is definitely unhappy with this exercise. It's already yelling at me. Here we go. And lower. Thinking about packing those shoulders down every single time. All of a sudden I am sweating because this side is so much more work for me. We've got 4 more. Lift. We're only holding for 3 seconds. Only. That's still a long time when you're balancing on one leg, I know. And lower. 2 more. Push those sticks down. Shoulders are packed down. And lower. Last time. 2 and 3. Okay, so now we're adding on with this whole variation of lifting sticks, right? This is just a great way to find awareness, be a little bit playful, and see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what maybe you need to work on some more. So, lifting my right arm and lifting my left leg. Oof, 2, 3, and lower. So when I lift that opposite arm, it actually kind of makes me feel a little more secure, like I'm even. Lifting that left arm and left leg. Oh, I want to lean over to the right here. 2, 3, and down. Lifting both arms. 1. Ooh, definitely need more balance here. And lower. So now we have that eyes closed. Already I can tell with my right leg balanced, I probably have a little bit, my balance is not as good as my left leg. So I might feel a little bit more wobbly. That's okay, that's why we're practicing and exploring this. So eyes are closed. Lift that leg. 2 and 3. Lower down. You'll feel all kinds of little wobbles, little micro adjustments. I want you to know that as you do that, every time your body's moving in that way and you're finding stability, you're strengthening that muscle to be able to do this again and again. So, this is our last exercise. I will say it's not easy, but if you feel like you would like to have a chair available for yourself, feel free to do that. So we're going to be doing a squat to a stand. So you can definitely use a chair and you can squat down. I'm going to turn to the side so we see this angle, right? Thinking about getting those legs as parallel to the floor as is comfortable for you. Pushing down on those sticks and then you stand up. So again, moving in the sagittal plane using regular daily exercises because we all got to get up and down, right? So here we go. Lowering down. Let's hover here for 2, 3, and stand up. Squeeze the bum as you stand up. Push the sticks down. So pushing the sticks down as you lower. Thinking about keeping that chest up. Hover here for 2, 3, and come up. So if you do use a chair, you can try and hover for just a moment before you settle. When you get set in that chair, you're really thinking about the work of standing back up because that is work too. Here we go. We've got 7 more. Lower, 2, 3, and lift. Lower, 2, 3, push those sticks down to give you extra effort to get back up. It gives you more leverage. Lower, 2, 3, and lift. 4 more. Lower, 2, 3, and lift. Squeezing your bum as you come to stand up. Lower, 2, 3, and lift. We lower, 2, 3, and lift. You will notice if you get tired, you'll start to lean over to kind of get into that squat as opposed to pushing the butt backward and really bending the knees. There will be a little bit of a shift forward, but you have these sticks which really, really help keep you with your chest nice and proud. So here we go. Last time we're doing this particular variation, we're going to lift that right arm, find that squat, 2, 3, and stand back up. Other side, lift that left arm, find your squat, 2, 3, and lift. Here's the hard one. 2 sticks are lifted, we squat, 2, 3, and stand. And now keep those sticks down on the ground. You're going to push them down into the ground as you close your eyes, only if you feel comfortable, and find that squat, 2, 3, and lift. That one feels really secure actually for me when I have the sticks. So it's a great way to practice and play and to just sort of understand where your balance is today because every day is different. So I hope you enjoyed working on balance exercises in the sagittal plane, and I do hope you look forward to coming back again where we will be working on the frontal plane. Until next time.